which you don't see in a lot of aggro lists, but can be really nice in this matchup if it resolves.
Nothing too crazy about the list that Cheng is playing this weekend. I think it's all stuff that we're used to, though there is a main deck copy of Ashiok Nightmare Weaver here. He's also starting Thoughtseize, so he'll start off with one of those. He'll see a Thoughtseize on the other side. There's Jamoka's Command of Heroes, Downfall, Courser of Crewfix, and Abzan Charm, along with a couple of lands here.
This is a slightly bigger and slower build of Abzan aggro that Talia has here. You see Courser Crewfix in that hand, 2 copies of Tassiker, 2 main deck copies of Wingmate Rock, only 2 Jamoka's Commands. Usually the more Jamoka's Commands, the more aggressive the deck is tilting. 3 Heroes Downfalls alongside 4 Thoughtseizes, the main deck Whip of Erebos. This is a bigger build of the deck than we typically see.
See what Zaring can put together for the first turn as we are underway here in round number 8. It'll be a Temple of Silence, time to scry. That top card going to go to the bottom. We'll head back Cheng's way. Looks like Opulent Palace the draw. Just a one of, really a blue-black dual land in the deck. The green mana doesn't work its way into the equation.
Gotta cast Dissolve and gotta cast Bioblight, and sometimes that means you take every dual land you get your hands on.
Thoughtseize will select Thoughtseize, so we head back Zaring's way. So Courser of Crewfix be selected from the first Thoughtseize, so not really a lot doing here for the Abzan aggro player. One Swept Teeth and a passing of the turn. There's a Polluted Delta. And of course, when Esper Dragons is involved, it's more of a just kind of answer your threats, play a Dragon Lord Ojutai, clean up that way.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward deck, truth be told.
The deck has some vulnerabilities, though. When you don't have Dig Through Time or Dragon Lord Ojutai, you are kind of just sitting there trading 1 for 1, and sometimes your cards don't even allow you to do that. You really want one of your sources of card advantage to come online.
Zaring will take a draw step. Looks like a Siege Rhino. And number 3 at the ready. Be a copy of Llanowar Waste. Pass the turn back. Cheng will take a draw. Foul-Tongue Invocation has been added to his hand. A Dismal Backwater will gain Jonathon the life, and we'll get ourselves an Abzan Charm here. Be a painful one. This one will actually deal 3. Give them the Llanowar Waste on the battlefield, but 2 cards on the way. And Zaring will take a draw step.
2 main deck copies of Den Protector. Very powerful type of card in this matchup.
Here's a Siege Rhino. That's going to resolve. And Zaring up to 19. Cheng will go down to 14. We might have a Foul-Tongue Invocation at the end step here. Cheng going to sacrifice the Polluted Delta, go down to 13.
Natahlia's deck almost resembles a post-board Abzan aggro deck in a lot of respects.
It's a kind of a strange configuration, at least the main deck.
It is set up for a long game.
Yeah. The main deck with Erebos is certainly indicative of that.
Yep.
2 Tassikers as well.
2 Den Protectors.
Yep. Dragon Lord Slumgar is the reveal to the Foul-Tongue Invocation. So Cheng's going to gain 4 life. It's so funny how the metagame moves. This is night and day from what we saw at the Invitational.
Yeah, these decks were nowhere to be seen.
Yeah. We saw a lot of Heroic at that tournament. We saw a lot of Devotion. We haven't seen any Heroic this weekend. There's one Swept Teeth.
And if Jonathon doesn't find a copy of Dig Through Time, I think he's in trouble this game. I think Natahlia is the one with a big edge in terms of card advantage and the ability to play a late game, even though she's the aggressive deck in the matchup. And there's a pretty strong chance that whatever creature Jonathon casts, whatever dragon casts, just gets killed.
It's extremely likely that will happen. Might be time to morph a Den Protector. Yep. That's going to get countered by Slumgar Scorn. Can't let that happen. Den Protector going to bite the dust, pass that turn back over to Cheng. There's a Temple of Enlightenment. Take a look at the top card, Will Jonathon. It'll become the bottom card. We head back Zaring's way. Looks like Thoughtseize was the draw. I can clear a path for something. Gonna start with the Temple. Take a look at the top card. Looks like she's gonna leave that on top pretty quickly. Now Thoughtseize. Well, Drangler Slimguard Hero's Downfall. Keep in mind the top card will scry to the bottom too. So Cheng doesn't even know what he's drawing.
And Natahlia with Hero's Downfall left over to handle the Dragon Lord.
Yep.
A Wingmate Rock on top. Not the best threat, but it's something.
There are worse threats.
And again, things are not all doom and gloom for Natahlia from the spot, because I would argue she's drawing about as effectively as Jonathon is from this spot. She's got a lot of really powerful cards in her deck as the game goes late.
Yeah, a card like Fleece Mainline, Rashasha Death Dealer, Den Protector, those are all really good draws right now.
I mean, almost all of her spells are very good from this spot.
There's Dragonlord Silumgar. That'll take Wingmate Rock temporarily. And Thoughtseize was the draw. A pretty good draw. Let's see what. Nope, no hit. Here's Hero's Downfall. There we go. Flip him around. There we go. Pass the turn back over to Cheng. Blue Delta in hand. I believe Slumgar Scorn may have been the draw. Not great. Time to attack. Can't stop the rock. Tremoka's Command and a mystery card here for Zaring.
Looks like Whip of Erebos was the draw. And that is a big one.
Yeah, it's a big draw. And pass the turn back over to Cheng.
Got over there. We got a Siege Rhino, I think, at least.
There's at least one Siege Rhino. There's a Den Protector down in the graveyard, too. Courser of Crewfix. There are just things to bring back.
Yeah. Tassiger here as well.
Yeah, that was the draw step.
I mean, with the construction of her deck, Natahlia is definitely giving up some percentage points against aggressive decks game one. There's no doubt about it. But I think that these changes are a huge upgrade for this matchup, and you're seeing them come to bear here.
Here's an activation. Got to bring back Courser. Take a look at the top card, Sandstep Citadel. Trigger, gain a life. Manic Influence will be the draw next turn. That'll be time to come into the red zone. Then that rock will trigger. 5 lifelinking damage, and now we'll have ourselves a Tassiger in just a moment. Looks like maybe the Wingmate Rock trigger was missed with the, you can see the kind of the body language between the two players.
The upshot is it doesn't really matter all that much.
Not too much.
Not in this matchup.
There's Tassiger. With the mana available to still cast Tremoka's Command. Of course, going to delve away 5 cards. Play Tassiger on the ultra cheap. Try to leave the graveyard stocked with real cards.
Yeah, there's this weird tension here because she kind of wants to leave spells, but she also just wants to leave the most number of creatures behind as possible for Whip of Erebos.
Cheng will take a draw. His last few draw steps have been pretty poor, though I think he may have just run into a Dig Through Time.
I don't know if Dig Through Time is going to be good enough, but if it's not, nothing else in his deck is.
That's true. There's nothing exciting about a card like Dragonlord Ojutai right now. That's not going to save him.
No, that's blocking.
Yeah. Pass the turn back. If it was a Dig Through Time, we're going to find out real soon here. There's Manic Influence. Knew Natahlia was drawing that one. No, I like whipping back a Rhino, putting Jonathon to the test.
Yeah, it leaves Natahlia with enough mana left over to also activate Tassiger. So this is a great turn.
Gonna start with the Tassiger activation. Just a couple of lands.
Now, I am not thrilled with this play. I would start off because if Jonathon's got a counter spell, you don't want to get the Siege Rhino back in your hand and then have to try to resolve it.
Yeah. I want to whip back the Siege Rhino to start things.
Yes.
Instead of casting it. Because, as you mentioned, it turns on one aspect of his deck that would be turned on otherwise, which is a counterspell. Here's dig through time. Cheng will take a look at the top 7. Take 2 with Slumgar scoring among the options. There's also a copy of Foul Tongue Invocation over there.
No dragon to pair, though.
Doesn't appear to be the case. 5 cards go to the bottom. Dissolve in hand 2. Now it's time to go to the attacks. Wingmate Rock will trigger. There's Foul Tongue. Gonna sacrifice Tassiger, it appears. Maybe not.
Yeah, my preference here, I think, is just sacrifice the Wingmate Rock. Because that active power on Tassiger right now is a real thing.
Here's your Dromoka's command. We'll figure out what modes this is selecting.
I mean, there's not a lot to be done for this productively other than +1/+1 in this spot.
Cheng gonna sacrifice his Polluted Delta. There's an island. Feels like we might have a dissolve here. Okay.
I mean, because Cheng is essentially dying here, he might have to cast Dissolve on basically anything to be able to scry for 1.
So Dromoka's command is not resolving. And it appears Zaring is sacrificing the Tassiger. And I prefer sacrificing the Wingmate Rock. Basically, the reason you mentioned is Tassiger is going to allow you to do some things later in the game. And also, a 4/5 actually against this deck, Wingmate Rock doesn't line up appropriately against Dragonlord Ojutai.
Yeah.
I think that's another huge issue. Because if a Dragonlord Ojutai comes rolling off the deck, Zaring might not be able to attack anymore.
Right. I mean, she's still got a pretty solid late game rolled up here because of Whip of Erebos and the action in the graveyard. Siege Rhino in hand, but things have gotten a little hairy now. I mean, whipping back Tassiger still puts Jonathon to the test to have a removal spell. And you still have Siege Rhino on the follow-up.
Yep. I think you just want to put as much pressure on Cheng as you can in this situation. And try to get the game over as quickly as you can as well. Cut off the number of draws he has and force him to have the necessary answers. Here's Siege Rhino. It's a dig through time and response. There goes the entire graveyard. So Cheng will look at the top 7 yet again. Hero's Downfall, Dissolve among those cards.
I don't mind opening on Siege Rhino here because it does give you some insulation against an Edict effect.
Yep.
You get to, Jonathon kind of has to use it up front.
And if Siege Rhino gets countered, cool.
All right, cool. Whip it back and you're done.
So let's see what Cheng wants to select here. Dissolve, looks like Dissolve and Downfall. Here's a Whip activation. Gonna get back Tassiger.
I mean, if Jonathon's on 2 removal spells he gets to play on.
It appears that he might be.
So
Siege Rhino will not get to attack. And it appears maybe Zaring may have missed the Siege Rhino trigger. Okay, it's a bio blood.
Yeah,
okay.
you can stay alive.
Got
yeah.
it.
So
Okay.
we got it. Jonathon still swimming upstream.
To say the least. Yep, no more.
No more.
There's no more stream to swim up. Natahlia Zaring is going to win game number 1 here over Jonathon Cheng. Amazon Agro up a game over Esper Dragons. We take a look at the sideboards here. And we'll start with Cheng, and his Thoughtseize, his Negate, his 2 Disdainful Strokes, his 2 Ultimate Prices, 2 Ashiok Nightmare Weaver, 3 Drown in Sorrow, 2 Tasker of the Golden Fang, and then 2 copies of Dragonlord's Prerogative.
There's not a lot to be thrilled with for the sideboard in the matchup here. I think the 2 copies of Ashiok are pretty reasonable. I think Disdainful Stroke is fine, especially having seen Tassiger and Whip of Erebos alongside the Siege Rhinos, plus the expectation that Natahlia is sliding into a more expensive build of the deck. But I don't think there's a ton to really like in the matchup. Jonathon can bring in the Tassigers, for example, but Natahlia's deck is armed to handle that card pretty easily between Hero's Downfall, Abzan Charm, and other removal spells.
For Zaring, what she got in her board?
2 copies of Self-Inflicted Wound, 2 copies of Sorin, Solemn Visitor, 2 Drown Sorrow, a Virulent Play, 2 copies of Ultimate Price, a Bioblight, a Waymate Rock, a Dromoka's Command, and 3 copies of Duress. Much the same story here. Not a lot to sideboard in, but a lot of that is a function of the fact that Natahlia's done her work game 1. A lot of the sideboarded cards you typically have for this matchup are already in her main deck. The 3 copies of Duress, I think, are very easy to bring in. I could see the 2 copies of Sorin coming in here. You know, you just kind of want more Planeswalkers against control decks, but you know, other than that, there's not a lot to point to. But that is a function of her having a lot of powerful anti-control cards in her main deck, and you saw plenty of them come to play there, especially Whip of Erebos and Tassiger.
These players will shuffle up for game number 2. Cheng will be on the play with his Esper Dragons deck. We'll quickly talk about Star City Games Game Night. Fantastic promotion that we've been able to do because of you guys at home who've played in the promotion. So, of course, we appreciate that. And we've got some new stuff on the way. The bunny, I think, is kind of old news at this point.
Yeah, we're approaching the end of June. We send out these kits every month. There's a new pin and foil token. You give these out when people show up at game night. You see the July kit here. It's a little too late to get signed up for that. If you're looking to get signed up for August right now and you're a retailer, you want to get the monkey pins and tokens here, head over to starcitygames.com/game night or contact your Star City Games organized play representative.
The thieving monkey.
We don't know. Not confirmed thieving, but likely to be thieving.
Fairly happy stealing monkey.
Right.
Big fan of Monkey Month being August. I can fully support that. Plus, bananas are kind of sweet.
Yeah.
I used to hate bananas. That's a little fun fact.
I eat a lot of them now.
When I was a kid, I used to eat a banana like every day, and then I hated it during like my entire adolescence and my early 20s, and now I eat 2 bananas a day.
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely sure if I even like them, though I will say, you know what's great? Banana bread.
Yeah, that's not that good for you, though.
Well, that's not where I'm getting my bananas from.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of letting it be known. Banana bread is great. I'm just throwing that into the universe.
Right. Vegetables, banana bread, that's all I get. You know, and fruits and vegetables, banana bread, apple pie, all the staples. Pizza. Did you go to school? They probably had taken care of this by the time you were in elementary school, but was pizza ever on the food pyramid when you were in elementary school?
Ooh, I don't remember, but I think it was. I'm not 100% positive, but I think it was.
Yeah.
Is that in the bread and grain, the bottom?
Yeah, I don't know. You need a lot of pizza. There's some modern analogs. I guess elementary schools have McDonald's hosted events where they bring in McDonald's employees, feed the children McDonald's, and teach them McDonald's theme songs, which to me is more nefarious than having pizza on the food pyramid.
What do you think the food pyramid looks like now? When's the last time you took a look?
I've not taken a look in a while.
Okay. I'm actually quite curious at this.
Probably no pizza.
You think pizza's off?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be a nutritionist. You just have to know what your body feels like after you've had pizza to know that should not be part of your daily balanced diet.
Probably shouldn't have 6 to 11 servings of pizza. No? No, you don't think so?
You got tomato, you got dairy, you got bread. It's just all there. You know, what else you need?
It actually kind of looks the same as when I grew up. Vegetables, they'd like you to have 3 to 5 servings.
You want to get your fruit? Go get some Fruit Loops. Pizza pretty much covers everything else. And then you can treat yourself when you go home.
Where does Trix line up? Is that a fruit?
Yeah.
It's shaped like fruit.
Trix it's fruit-ish.
Great cereal.
Yep.
I'm curious where Red Bull is on the food pyramid. It's very popular beverage. Sody Pop.
That stuff is That stuff is so poisonous.
Oh, is it? Really? You think battery acid in a can's not good for you?
You ever watch Mad Men? You've watched the show?
I actually have never started.
Okay, so
started.
it's you know.
Don't ruin it.
I won't, but it's set in, about 50 years ago, and so everyone's smoking. It was back in just like a different time in American culture. People are smoking indoors, people are smoking while they work, and that's one of the ways it's a period piece. Now that looks so weird, but at the time, that's just the way people were, and so it frames the period the show is set in. 50 years from now, when people make shows about modern day, everyone's going to be drinking Red Bull. That's going to be the way that it was set now. Because 50 years from now, people are going to be like, I can't believe people drink that stuff all the time, But now that's just, it's the way I have one when I wake up in the morning.
That and 5-hour energies.
Right.
And a Frappuccino.
Right, exactly.
Cheng will start things off here with a Temple of Enlightenment. Time for him to scry. Top card goes to the bottom. We go back to Zaring. She has a Temple as well. It's a Temple of Silence. That card will stay on top as well. Cheng with a Temple of Enlightenment yet again. That card's going to go to the bottom. Head back to Natahlia's way. There is a Windswept Tea, sacrificing that very, very quickly. Time to go searching.
Tobacco may technically be a vegetable. I'm curious to see if it's ever been on the food pyramid. If you go back and find food pyramids from, like the 1910s or whatever.
Years past.
It's not that much more ridiculous than pizza. I mean, it's worse, you know what I mean? But it's not that much more ridiculous.
Where do you think the hot dog pizza lines up on the food pyramid?
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. A Fleece Mane Lion and a passing of the turn by Zaring. It's a swamp from Cheng. No surprise to see not a lot of action here from Jonathon. Zaring is going to typically be the aggressor in the matchup. Here comes Fleece Mane Lion.
I like her position a lot in the matchup because she's the aggressor, but she's not beat if the game goes long.
Yeah.
She's got enough late game in the deck where she can hang around, even if things drag out.
Every time for another Fleece Mane Lion. Only a single black man out there for Cheng, so this isn't terribly risky.
I mean, it is still a little bit risky. Black man can come off the top, but
yeah, you hope.
You gotta catch your Fleece Mane Lion. It's not getting better sitting in your hand.
Foul-tongue invocation, took care of the Fleece Mane Lion, revealing a Dragonlord Ojutai. So Cheng up to 21. Here's Polluted Delta. So there's another black source of mana. Zaring will draw. Looks like another Fleece Mane Lion in hand now. Here's an attack for 3. Cheng back down to 18. Maybe a Sandstep Citadel. And it looks like maybe another Fleece Mane Lion. Getting a little risque.
Well, again, you got to cast it.
Yeah. 3 Bile Blights in the main deck. Here's Slumgar Scorn, revealing Dragonlord Ojutai. That'll take care of that. Just got to pass the turn back. To Cheng we go. Temple of Deceit appears to be the draw. However, Polluted Delta is being sacrificed very quickly after that Haven the Spirit Dragon came down, so I think we know what's on the way.
We do, but Natahlia's got about the best possible follow-up here, as she gets to play land number 5 and attack with Fleece Mane Lion. One presumes Jonathon won't block because he'll lose Dragonlord Ojutai for nothing if he does. And then Natahlia has a rated Wingmate Rock post-combat, and that's just a lot of stuff in play.
This is the test right away.
And then even if Natahlia gets hit by Dragonlord Ojutai, she might be able to race. I mean,
yep.
Jonathon's at 14, and this is a lot coming on the way back. 9 points of power in play.
Can't stop the rock. There's a raid trigger. So you got another 3-4 coming. Pass that turn back over to Cheng. Cheng will take a draw. Why do I want to double block so bad if he attacks?
I don't, because I just want to untap and crack him in the jaw, man.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to trade.
I don't know why I'm getting so frisky. I just want to double block really bad.
Well, the upside is enormous. If you double block and he has no removal spell, he's done.
Yeah.
So I get it from that perspective, yeah. But at 14,
Might be leading out with the Thoughtseize.
Sure. Let's go about the action.
Oh, this might be a dig through time now. Oh, okay. Dragon Lord's prerogative can't be countered because of Dragon in play. Not that that would come up in this matchup. So here come 4 cards. Here's a grip. Foul-tongue Invocation, Hero's Downfall, Dig Through Time, Temple of Deceit, and Caves of Koilos. Dig Through Time gets selected very quickly.
I'm interested by that because I feel like Natahlia's in a position just to be aggressive. I think Foul-tongue Invocation is probably my take out of that hand.
Looks like there might be a Sorin in hand. There's a land. Yeah, this could be Sorin plus.
Yeah, I mean, you get a sea of 4 power creatures now.
Yeah, I like this attack a lot.
Yeah, got to bring them all in.
Yeah.
I mean, Jonathon said he got 2 removal spells now, so not a lot to be done by blocking.
I think he's almost forced to block here with the Dragon Lord Ochitai.
Yeah, well, the problem is that he's down to 4 life from his Foul-tongue Invocation. I suppose he can block, get it back with Haven, kill something else, gain 4 life. He's still way behind, but there's some hope.
In this situation, he could take the 12, go to 2. Dragon Lord Ochitai can finish off Sorin. If his mana lines up appropriately, he can fire off Hero's Downfall, 1 creature. Foul-tongue Invocation takes another creature. Sorin's gone. He's up to 6.
Yeah, I guess that's the upside of Nathalia's play is just he's only got 2 black mana. And if you expect the game to only go on for 1 more turn, then he can't cast both the spells in his hand.
But I also believe there may have been a Caves of Koilos in there. Either way, it's a tough spot here for Jonathon.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of taking Dig Through Time there because I think you're just playing for a 2-turn game, and Foul-tongue Invocation is the most dangerous card in the hand. It's easy to cast, gains a lot of life. All your threats are interchangeable, so an Edict is as good as a Hero's Downfall in this spot.
Yeah, the mana, it's just not, if things are going appropriately, Jonathon doesn't have the time to cast Dig Through Time.
Exactly.
That's the big plan.
And if he's digging, the card he's really looking for is Foul-tongue Invocation.
Yep.
That's already what he's in the market for.
Because let's say, for example, if he was able to draw a Foul-tongue Invocation for his draw step, this would be a nightmare.
Yes.
Casting 2 of those would be horrible news. That was not the case, however. Here comes Dragon Lord Ochitai. Sorin going to bite the dust very quickly. That's a Hero's Downfall. Don't want to let that Fleece main line go monstrous. Urborg, the last card in Zaring's hand. I will draw a card. There may have been another copy of Wingmate Rock. Here's the attack. Cheng has to take 1 to go up to 5. There goes the token. And the rock will deal 3. Put Cheng back down to 2. Hiya! Another Wingmate Rock brings a token along with it. Past that turn back. Cheng will draw a card. We know last turn he drew a land. Here comes Dragon Lord Ochitai.
Now this turn I'm down with a double block.
I want to snap him off really bad. A single block. See, I don't like the single block because if Foul-tongue Invocation was a draw, it's really bad news. It wasn't.
Yeah.
So Cheng is going to end up losing the match. A little bit of a risky play there from Zaring, but it does work out, and she's going to win this match over Jonathon. Cheng 2-0. Obs on aggro will take care of Esper Dragons, and she moves on to 7-1 here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Her main deck is about as well positioned for the matchup as you can realistically get and still call the deck Obs on aggro. The 2 copies of Dromoka's Command, that's usually the worst card in the deck. And when people are playing 4 copies of Dromoka's Command, it's really punishing in the Esper Dragons matchup because it's close to a dead card. It's not totally dead, but it's very close.
It's about as close as you can get.
About as close as you can get to being a dead card. And in place of the extra Dromoka's commands, you typically see in these lists, you're looking at cards like Thoughtseize, Whip of Erebos, Hero's Downfall, all very solid colors for the matchup. Back that up with a couple copies of Duress on the sideboard. And I think Natahlia's got a very good matchup here and won both games pretty convincingly.
The thing that's notable here is that game 1 is so good because when you're playing Obs and aggro, you're normally just giving away game 1 Esper Dragon. Something has to go really right for you. Mana Screw, Flood, bad draw, whatever. But I feel like game 1, she's actually favored in the matchup, and things actually get a little better after sideboard.
Yeah, and
so you have to love that.
And you really saw a vulnerability there of Esper Dragons is that's an eminently beatable deck. If they're not digging through time into a lot of power and they're not connecting with Dragon Lord Ojutai, it's a control deck with very